All right, Adam, midweek for the Buffaloes as they prepare to face Kansas State this week, and back after the bye. And today on Wednesday, as we're doing this, we got basically the edge guys. We get edge coach Vincent Dancy, as well as Sam Okunlola and Tajay McCoy, a couple of guys that had big games down at UCF. And what were your just initial impressions of talking to those guys today?
Well, just first off, it's nice to see those guys kind of living up to some of the preseason hype that you and I, helped kind of fuel in Tajay McCoy getting out there as a, second-year freshman, basically as a redshirt freshman, and making plays. You could kind of see the confidence on his face when we were talking to him. And, that's a deep group. And Deion Hayes, I asked Vincent Dancy about him. He said he's still working his way back, and that's one of the guys maybe the bye week helps, but still not quite sure if he's going to be out there this Saturday.
Yeah, it looked like he's been out there a little bit, but you have more confidence in that group now when you see guys like Tajay and Sam, have sacks against UCF. And, McCoy is one that, going back to when Nick Williams was here last year, and Tajay's a true freshman, didn't play a lot. Nick Williams was speaking highly of him last year. And so it's, we've kind of been waiting for this, and he's still a very young player. And so it's not like he's, late blooming or anything like that, but I mean, we've been hearing his name for a while. It was kind of cool to see him, really shining against UCF.
There's a lot of things that it takes to be a really good pass rusher, but I don't know if I've ever seen a player that's quicker off the line than Tajay McCoy.
Yeah,
it's almost incredible how quickly he gets that momentum going, and I think there's other facets of it that he's had to kind of hone. Obviously, he's not going to be a ready-made product just by being quick off the ball, but seeing some of that other stuff come together. But, I mean, that is one of those things that you heard coaches say that I can't coach that. That is a unique skill set. He was Oklahoma's defensive player of the year for the entire state his senior year there, and he was my top defensive signee coming in that class. I just loved his potential as a pass rusher, and it's like, and for him to learn from a guy like Arden Walker, who is more of kind of a pass rush guy coming out of high school and has really developed into a fantastic run support edge guy. I mean, his performance against UCF, just against the run and holding down that edge was, something that you would want to put up on film and show younger guys if this is how you do it. And so that's a great guy for Tajay to learn from, to become more of that well-rounded edge guy.
Right. And I remember talking to Arden Walker when he first committed to Colorado as a transfer, and he had been 2 years at Missouri, and he told me, he's like, this was what I learned at Missouri is this is a position that takes a long time to be ready to really play and contribute, because there's so many nuances to playing the edge, and so we're seeing Arden Walker be one of those guys. I mean, we saw a little bit last year, but we're seeing it more this year. But for Tajay McCoy, again, a lot of good things said about him last year, but he was a first-year player, and so it makes more sense that he's now starting to grow a little bit in that role. And Sam Okunlola, very no-nonsense guy. He gets right to the point in his answers. Big smile on his face. But I asked him, I said, hey, does that give you guys a lot of confidence that with Deion Hayes out against UCF, you and Tajay step up? And he goes, well, that's what we're supposed to do. And so just very matter of fact. And I love that answer.
Yeah, no, he was straight to the point with his answers.
Yeah.
I was joking with you. It kind of made me think of Marshawn Lynch. I'm only here so I don't get fined, but no, he was making an effort, and you're talking about the difference between the 2023 Buffs and the 2024 Buffs.
Yeah.
If Deion Hayes doesn't suit up against UCF, you don't have Arden Walker and Tajay McCoy with 2 sacks and Okunlola with his first sack as a Buff. And so that's really where you've seen the difference in this football team, is that depth. Whereas last year, again, kind of going back to 2023, is Jordan Dominic was the guy there.
Right.
And I can't wait to see what Sam Okunlola looks like next year, what Tajay McCoy looks like in a couple years, because those guys you can see the skill set is there for them to be pretty special players.
Well, and Arden Walker too. I mean, come back next year for, as I think he's a senior next year. So that group, if it stays together, coming into next year, that could be a really fun group to watch. And you're right. I mean, if Jordan Dominic went out last year, it was like, where is the pass rush going to come from? So anything else on the pass rush you want to talk about?
No, I mean, well, I asked Robert Livingston last week when we talked to him about the fact that when we ask players about him, their face lights up.
Yeah.
and Vincent Dancy was asked about Robert Livingston, and his face legitimately lit up. You can go watch the video that we're going to put on our YouTube pages. It's getting to become kind of a broken record, even though we're just going into the 6th game of the season. But it's clear that Robert Livingston has done everything to really connect with the coaches around him, the players, and everybody wants to work hard for that guy. And it's been kind of cool to see, because it's been a minute around here since we've seen a defensive coordinator that's been respected that universally, around town.
Is 5 games too early to declare this, one of the top assistant coach hires in the last decade or so?
Yeah, I think so, because we've seen the in-game adjustments, and we've seen them getting better. Now there's more talent in the program too right now, and that's one of the things that Robert Livingston does that is going to always be well received by the players, is he deflects the praise on him onto his assistants, onto his players. But I mean, and Jim Leavitt was such a great defensive mind, but he didn't always mesh well and work well with people around him. Right. I really can't think of the last time I've had a defensive coordinator around here just universally loved the way that Robert Livingston is.
Yeah. There's been some guys that did a good job, but not. Yeah. I mean, to your point, universally loved like this. I mean, I'm not sure I've seen an assistant, like this, in a long time. So another quick thing is that we talked to yesterday to Dallin Hayden, but we didn't really talk about it a whole lot yesterday. But the run game is coming along. Dallin Hayden talked about that. He was able to get back against UCF, score a touchdown his first as a Buff. That run game, it's not going to put up 200-300 yards rushing, but it's now a weapon and something that complements that passing offense. And Dallin talked about that. It's such a key to have those guys healthy and playing like they are. Yeah,
I think a lot of us were trying to analyze that running back position and sometimes forgetting that Dallin Hayden dealt with a pretty nasty high ankle sprain early on the season. And to see that burst through his touchdown run was okay. That looks like he's back, and then he was saying yesterday in the press conference that he feels like he's almost back to 100%. And that bye week he was probably one of the guys that benefited from that. So I just want to see the hot hand ridden at that position. And I understand that you've got guys you want to rotate through there, and if a guy breaks off an 80-yard run, you got to give him a breather. But when you see a Dallin Hayden or an Isaiah Augustive rattle off 40, 50 yards in a drive, I want to see them back out there the next drive, right? Kind of ride that a little bit. That would be my biggest desire with the running back competition, because I really don't think there's a whole lot separating those top 3 guys, because they're all a little bit different backs, but they're all pretty similar talent-wise.
Yeah. Well, it's been fun to watch. Each of them have had their moments too. Yeah. And so you're right. I'd love to see that too. It'd be fun to see one of these guys have a 15 carry, 85-yard day, and a lot of them right now, you'll take 120 as a group, but it'd be fun to see one of those guys, take off. So anything else, or do you want to just close it up? We'll be back later on this week for some predictions.
I am going to pick Colorado to win this football game, but I haven't quite made a prediction yet, so I'm going to bite my tongue there for now. But
spoiler alert, right?
Well, this place needs to be rocking the way that an 8:15 start in Boulder should be rocking. Yeah. I think because of the bye week, maybe, and everybody's just so happy about that UCF result. Yeah. Maybe the Colorado versus everybody thing needs to kind of ramp up, and I don't know if you just manufacture a quote out of Kansas State's camp. No, don't do that. But I feel like this game needs something else, because football-wise, not drama-wise, you're talking about 2 really good football teams that are going to be competing on this field down there.
Well, let's spend 24 hours thinking about this, getting our predictions in order. We'll be back tomorrow with some predictions.